Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Youth engagement is also something that has to go beyond tokenism. So I was born and raised in America. I was raised in the American Muslim Masjid. All I heard growing up was the youth are the future. I heard this everywhere and I was like, wow, they really care about us. And then you'd go and you'd have an idea and then it doesn't matter, like no one has time for it, they weren't mean, alhamdulillah, God bless them, nobody was mean, but there was definitely like, that's very nice, it's very patronizing sometimes, right? And so, there's many levels of it, but I want to say when we're talking about youth, if we're talking about past the age of maturity in Islam, there's a particular way that we want to deal with that category of young people, but it really does start at childhood. It starts when they're in the Sunday school and they're in the Islamic school. And before coming to the conference, I heard some really unfortunate Islamic school stories. Really unfortunate Islamic school stories. It wouldn't have fazed me 30 years ago, but we can't afford to be doing this in 2024. And I was like, you know what? We need to have an event called Unspired. Unspired. What happens when you put the psycho-spiritual needs of children last is you're building not only a community culture of authoritarianism, but also mediocrity. They don't care. You've yelled at them all day long, and they're 6 years old. One kid said to their mom when they came home from a Sunday school program, a weekend for the summer school, which was, the time I hate the most. This is a 5-year-old. This is a 5-year-old who comes to his mom and he says, prayer time is the worst. When it's time, that's when they yell at us the most. Okay, so I understand we want to do programs for kids, but who do you have in charge of being in front of your children? And again, this idea of, okay, but these are all volunteers. It's better for the child to stay home with their parents and get a mediocre education where they love Allah and they love the Quran and they love their deen than for them to go to these terribly organized, terribly funded, like so-called educational programs where they come out traumatized, not wanting to know about deen, not feeling like they don't want to read and study and memorize the Quran. And I did chaplaincy for a while at university campuses. So I heard the stories of adults who went through bad childhoods in Masjid. Okay, I heard their stories. This happened, the Imam said this happened, the Sunday school teacher said this, the Islamic school teacher did this. You think children are resilient. Look, they're getting A's on their report card, they're coming home. Okay, when they're 18, when they're 20, when they're 25, what are they doing then? Where's their hijab then? Where's their love of the Quran then? I remember there was a convert to Islam in MSA, and another MSA brother was there, and he told the convert to Islam, I'm so jealous of you. And the MSA brother said, why? And he said, because I see you reading the Quran, and you're like new to Islam, and you like love the Quran. And he said, because of what they did to me in the Islamic school, I can't pick up the Quran. So youth, we need to stop saying youth are the future, and we need to say youth are the present, like they're right now. We need to take care of them right now. And even the story about like a person coming into the masjid, I do a children's program, once a week, and it's like with songs and art, and we incorporate the lesson, so it's like very interactive. But one of the things we did for the kids is we had this activity where we had one kid step out of the room, and we told all the kids in the room, we said, imagine the person who's coming in is like a repulsive, forgive me, parents, forgive me, because there's a lesson in this, is like a repulsive little, like, let's say it's a dog, okay? And it's like, I don't know, been in mud, and it's disgusting, and it has all this garbage on it, and it's walking in and wants to sit right next to you, but it's covered in nasty stuff, okay? You have to imagine the kid that's coming in is this person. And you're not allowed to say a single word. You're just supposed to keep this in your imagination as you look at them. So this is a group of literally 4 to 11-year-olds, okay, very wide range. And every kid, by the way, wanted to do this experiment, even though they saw the other kids do it. So the kid comes in, without a word, all the kids look at them, repulsed. What are you doing here, type of thing. I don't want you next to me, without saying a single word. And we asked the kid, how did you feel? And they said, scared, and like I wanted to leave. Then we had the kid leave the room, and then we said, the same kid, we told, now when the kid comes in, I want you to imagine this is your best friend. You miss your best friend. You haven't seen them all summer. It's the first day of school, and you just found out that this best friend is going to be sitting right next to you in class. And you see them into the classroom, and you're so excited to let them know that they're going to be sitting right next to you. And we had the kids imagine this without saying a single word. Nothing. They just look at the kid. So the kid comes back in, and everyone is staring at this kid with a different feeling in their heart, a different intention in their heart. And they asked the kid, what did you feel? How do you feel? And they said, I felt like everyone cared about me. I felt like everyone cared about me. I felt happy. And the other thing is every single kid, within 20 seconds, they were smiling. The other kids, again, they're not speaking. Intention is very powerful. Okay, so we need to move past words, the youth, and we need to actually, this intention. I love the youth. When I see a young person in the masjid, let me love them, right? Because it's not even you have to do a program. They know when they're loved. When you look at someone with love, they know that you love them. When you care about them, even if you don't say a single word, they feel that. When that convert came into the masjid and interacted with you, he knew, even if you wouldn't have said a single word, if you just sat next to him, he would have known that you cared about him. That's how powerful intention is. And so, again, I feel like most of these issues are actually very deeply spiritual issues. When someone walks into the masjid and everyone mad dogs the new person in the musalla, what do you think they're going to feel? So it's not just that the imam has to have the right message, but it's a community effort to be like, every time I go to the masjid, I'm going to love and serve every person who walks in through that door. Whether it's a woman, whether it's a young person, whether it's an elderly person, I'm going to love and serve my ummah. That's an everybody duty, fard ayn for us collectively, all right, or fard kifaya, I should say, for us collectively. That people come in and they feel safe. They come in, they feel loved, they feel cared about. If I come into your house as a guest, I know for a fact, because Muslims are amazing at Islamic hospitality. No one can outrank Muslims in hospitality when someone walks into someone else's home. But when it comes to the house of Allah, which we should have more of a sense of hospitality for people who come there, right? We should not just be the guests of that house. We are the hosts of that house for everyone who's coming into that house. And let's practice that hospitality with every person in the masjid, whether they're young and whether they're old, in terms of getting their voices heard. If you care about people, you listen to them. You don't just talk at them. If you care about that, as I'm saying, it's spiritual. If I actually care about young people, I'm going to sit and I'm going to enjoy the time I spend with them. I love my children's program because I love the kids. I don't yell at them because I don't want to yell at them. Does that make sense?
Makes sense.
They're beautiful children. They say children are awliya because they have no sins. Yeah. So I'm the one who's blessed to be in their company. You know what I'm saying? So these are things that on a spiritual level we have to work on ourselves so that these feelings that are pushing people out, can be replaced by other feelings that are welcoming people in. I've already spoken too much, forgive me. Barakallahu fikum. Assalamu alaikum.